Hi, it's Angie Uttecht, broker owner of Ace Realty, along with Molly Shelton here at Ace Realty. And it is time again for Ask Ace. Woo, yeah. So we always like to talk about some statistics and what's happening in the marketplace. I'm kind of a big numbers person, so we'll try to make it interesting and what's most important to you. And I think a lot of times, of course, what's most important to a seller is what am I going to get for my house?
Very, very important, especially right now.
Yeah. So, we really don't have much for inventory, and we are looking for listings for sure. I know as a seller, you might be thinking, well, there's not many buyers out there because of the interest rates, and of course the holidays are coming up, and typically it is a slower time of year right now.
Right.
But with that said, generally there's less competition during this time of year.
And there are still buyers out there.
Right. So we would encourage you to go ahead and think about listing your property now if you have that availability, because in the spring or after January, people start thinking about getting their house on the market.
Right. And even if you are just thinking about it, a good thing to do would be to call and get a market analysis done. We would be happy to help with that, and that's pretty painless process. We just come to your house and kind of get the stats on your house, walk through your house, see the updates that you've done, so that we are able to do market analysis to show you kind of where your price range is in the market today.
And the market is constantly changing. So if we do a market analysis for you today, I mean, even in a few weeks, it could change. If we have another sale that is a really good comparable to your house, we're going to want to update that analysis. So real estate is constantly changing.
Yes. Yes.
We have to be used to change in this business, that's for sure. So a couple things I wanted to go through with you, or that we were going to discuss, is that one thing I find very interesting is the average sale price. So our average sale price for Huron residential right now, year to date, is $166,624. And it's probably one nice thing is we're a very affordable place to live here in Huron, and I know sellers would always like that amount to be higher, but since it is affordable and interest rates are a little bit higher, more buyers can get into the marketplace in Huron, really,
Yes.
compared to other parts of the state. I know I was at a meeting yesterday, and Rapid City and Sioux Falls were stating their average sale price is around that $330 range. So can you imagine if our average sale price was $330? Hey, that'd be great for sellers, but there wouldn't be any buyers out there, as many buyers certainly, that could afford that here in Huron. So that's an interesting stat. And as we look back in the last couple years, our average sale price is holding steady. Right now we're down, just a little bit over 3%. But last year we were up 13.72% for average sale price, and our average sale price was $148,332. The year before that, we were up. In 2020, our average sale price was up 10.6%. So what I like to tell sellers is that, our market is still really good, and prices are really good. We're just not appreciating at that really high rate that we were.
Right.
So things are stabilizing, and even though we're down 3.39%, that's pretty much stable.
I think that's stable. Yeah.
So it's still, which is great news. Values are not decreasing. I had somebody ask me, hey, maybe we'll wait till spring when prices start to come down. Isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Prices aren't going to come down.
No, they are not. No.
Across the country, we still have super low inventory rates, there are just, in fact, I heard that, so there's over 1.6 million realtors across the country, just a little over 1.6 now, and there are only 1.3 million properties.
Wow.
So what's that tell you?
Yeah.
It's being real estate agents isn't as easy as it looks. But with that in mind, it is still a very good time to be a seller. And I think with all of the news and everything that's out there right now, sellers perhaps might think that isn't the case.
Right.
There's a lot of talk about, hey, is there going to be a crash and all that sort of thing. Well, how could there be a crash if we don't have really any listings, and those values, and the economists say too that the values are going going to hold pretty strong.
Which we are seeing for the most part that they are being pretty stable right now.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you have a really low absorption rate, and I know most people don't know what that is, but it's a tool we use to gauge the market. And so basically what it means is if we did not list another house the rest of the year, for example, how long would it take us to sell off our current inventory? And it would only take 1.6 months. Well, that was for November. So let me go to year to date. Year to date's 1.48 months, which is crazy low, which means it's definitely a seller's market. Your where you're kind of in a stable market is that 5 to 6 month range. So definitely a good time to get your house on the market. And those rates, you were talking about that earlier, that the rates are starting to come down a little bit.
Yes, and be manageable for buyers right now, and be at a reasonable interest rate for first-time home buyers. I know the first-time home buyer rate is a little bit lower.
It is, yeah. I think I want to say it's 5.45 or 5.5, somewhere in there.
Which is a stable range for interest rates to be at, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah. So
it's 100% lower than renting.
So it's still a good time to buy, and it's a great time to sell still.
It is. It really is. You know, and the best thing, we always encourage buyers to go talk to your lender, because the lenders and the mortgage loan officers, they know all of the programs that are out there way better than we do, because they're changing all the time, and they need to gather information from you. If you've got super great credit, you know, you might be eligible for more programs that are out there and more options. And the lenders really are becoming quite creative in this new market. And creative isn't the right word, but they have more programs available that allow you to get into a home despite the little higher rates that we're seeing.
Right.
So,
lenders are always the first place to start, and if you don't know where to go, we're always here to help give you some options as well. So
yep, we can help guide you through that.
Yep.
You know, and I've had some people say, hey, I want to buy a foreclosure property. When's the last time you saw a foreclosure
not
property?
for a long time, actually.
So in this market, we just don't have them, not very often, because there's been such low inventory. Those properties are being sold before they enter that foreclosure process.
Which is good for everyone.
It is. It really is. So that's good news. You know, again, even like new construction and stuff, that is down across the country. It's just going to take us a while, several years, in order to get that inventory back up and to the point where we are not in the low inventory market that we are right now.
Right.
And another thing that I find, well, of course, the mortgage rates have, you know, been all over the place, but starting to stabilize a little bit, it seems. But, you know, hard to predict exactly where those are going to be. But I know the National Association of Realtors economist really feels like we've maybe topped out, and that will continue to come down, or at least stay down a little bit.
Stabilize a little bit more. Yeah.
So not be so chaotic. So one thing about inflation and mortgage availability or housing availability and so forth is that with inflation, you know, the salaries have gone up, people's wages have gone up. So that helps, of course, make for an affordable mortgage. So we have to keep that in mind too, that will help people. And home ownership is one of the best ways to build wealth in this country. The wealth of a homeowner is like 44 times the wealth of a renter. So even though, rates might be a little higher than they've been in the past, it's still better than renting.
Buying real estate is always the right way to go.
And didn't you buy really young?
I did.
Your first
I bought
house?
at 19. Yeah.
Okay. So then you sold your first house, then how many years later?
2. Yeah, roughly.
And how did you do on that sale?
Very well. Very well. That was definitely, I mean, obviously the smartest thing for me and my family was to buy a house for the stability in itself, not necessarily what could. Back then I probably wasn't thinking, I can sell this, you know, and make money that way. My thought was the stability at that point was exactly what I needed, and I came out ahead in the long run, which was the right way to go, and I would continue to do it again every day. So
there aren't very many people that will buy real estate when they're that young, but it just allowed you to build or to buy a little nicer house, right?
Yes.
And then have that happen again.
Yep.
That's how it works.
A couple times.
So that's the beauty of it. Would you have saved up that much money, you think, just on your own if you were
Absolutely
renting?
not. There was no way. Obviously, you're paying somebody else's mortgage when you're renting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never putting anything back in your pocket. And with buying, you're always coming out a little bit ahead when you do it that way.
Sure. So again, one of the great investments. So our National Association of Realtors economist, I have heard him a couple times here in the last couple of months, and so he had a forecast, national forecast that he had put out, and so for 2022, he's expecting sales to be down across the country 15%. And if we look at Huron for sales, we are currently down 16.8%. So, pretty close to
We're close.
Yeah. And that's what we've seen. We've seen that sales have been down around that 15 to 16% range. And with only, what are we, December 8th, we'll be that. We're going to end probably 16% lower. But again, keep in mind, we're coming off of 2 absolutely record-breaking years. I mean, we crushed all records, especially last year. Our sales were up 23.2% last year.
Which is a lot.
It is.
Yep.
I'm surprised.
I know.
We survived that year.
But this sold listing is also, we also have to have the listings.
Correct. And that is something that has been interesting to watch, is that, okay, our new listings, where are our new listings at? Because last year we had low inventory, but in actuality, we had low inventory at that time.
Right.
But we were bringing on new listings and they were selling. Bringing on
Yes.
new listings and they were selling.
Yes.
But I know this year, which is a kind of a unique statistic to monitor, is that our new listings brought to the market are down 12.1. And let's just see, we didn't highlight this. Last year they were actually down 0.9. Which is interesting.
But we had a total, this was
Just each month.
this month. Yeah.
For that particular month.
Mm-hmm.
But that it is a great point. Inventory might be low, but if we're getting, we've had some houses around that 150 range, 160 range, and they've actually gone under contract pretty quickly. So if we get some houses in that, below 200 that are in good condition and priced right, they're selling.
I think price rate is a big thing.
Yeah.
I know that everybody sees us in the market that we're in and wanting to price a little bit, start a little bit higher. But in all reality, the ones that are priced right are either you're getting asking price or potentially we don't have as many multiple offer situations as we did in the past. But if you're priced right, you will more than likely sell the property in a reasonable amount of time.
Exactly.
So,
and what's happening a little bit too, so that's an advantage for really both buyers and sellers, but the buyers, you're not going to have as much competition as what we did. And so like Molly said, we're not seeing as many multiple offers. So hey, maybe you can actually get a house without being disappointed so much.
So it's good for both the buyers and the sellers. That buyers aren't necessarily always having to compete with somebody else, and the sellers are still getting
good money.
Close to what they're wanting. Yeah.
So one thing that we do, we really do study all of these numbers, because as a seller, we're going to put all of these numbers before you, and you're going to make the decision and help us make that decision of where you're going to be at. But we want to make sure you understand why we're saying what we're saying. We're backing it up with numbers, statistics, and recent sales, and that's very important, because I know in a recent, the economist, National Association of Realtors economist, he had a really nice chart that showed, hey, if you list too high in the beginning and then showed just, that how much longer that property was on the market, which makes logical sense, of course, but many times we'll hear, well, let's just put it on and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you can do that, but the longer a property is on the market, it starts to become stagnant and people wonder what's wrong with it. And studies have shown that most of the time you end up taking less money than what was your bottom dollar when you first decided to
if you start
list. Yeah, if you start too high.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our job to really give you all of the information so we can price that property correctly.
Right. Yeah.
So I know that's a lot of information
That was a lot.
that we're throwing out, but a couple key points I think to remember is that our average sale price year to date is actually $169.80, just a little bit down from last year where we were at $166 at this time, or at the end of the year last year. So, and again, let's go back to 2020, it was at $148. So we are appreciating, continue to show appreciation. So as a seller, hopefully that helps you feel a little better if you're thinking, hey, the market's crashing. It isn't. We need listings. We want listings, and we are happy to help you with that.
Agreed. And I think just to reiterate a little bit, as Ace Realty, our marketing for your new listings is a huge thing that we focus on, whether it be social media. Obviously, we put everything on our MLS. We have our 3D video tour. Those are things that we are very proud of. Yes, that's the word those are things that we are very proud of, and we work very hard at them, all of us as individuals and as a team, to make sure that we are marketing your property well and what's best for you as a seller as well, so that we get your property out to everyone. And that is something that we enjoy doing, but we also take a lot of pride in, because we are good at our social media.
Correct. And we have a full-time social media person, or marketing person, I should say, on our staff. So, because we don't always have, we're out working with buyers and sellers. So sometimes when we get super busy, that maybe our personal marketing falls to the wayside a little bit, but we've always got somebody behind the scenes day in and day out that is doing full-time marketing for us. And also, she's tracking our statistics and things like that as well, as a company-wide. So we also will supply sellers with that information, so you know that, hey, we are doing something. That sometimes I know it seems like, hey, maybe we're not. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into it that we will be sure to let you know what we're doing.
And it is very important to us.
Yes.
I mean, our pictures are very important. Our social media is very important, and it's important to you, because for us to sell your home or help you sell your home, pictures are a big deal. Yes.
For sure. If you see one of our pictures with the toilet seat up, please give us a call. I'm going to make sure that that's corrected.
I love that.
Yeah, we're going to try not to have that happen. All right. Well, that's all we have for this month. Next month will be pretty interesting, because obviously we'll have finished our year and we'll kind of know where we're at, but I'm guessing it's going to be pretty close to the stats we just reviewed today. Yeah. Again, please go visit our website, acerealty.net. Give us a call here so you can have that market analysis if you're ready, or if you want to start looking at houses, 605-352-8618. And we've got all the agents are out on our website with their phone numbers, including Molly's. So please, reach out today.
Have a good day.
Bye.